Today on the channel, they say a Joe a day keeps the doctor away. And we're going to test that theory with Clayton, Hawk, Abernathy, and of course the M.M.S. from the G.I. Joe Classified series line.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another G.I. Joe Classified series unboxing and review. And today on the channel we got an old-fashioned grandma vehicle with Hawk and the M.M.S. from the G.I. Joe Classified series line. But of course, for all your M.M.S. needs and Hawk needs, make sure you hit up jaystoysandgames.com. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 15% on all in-stock items. Got to get a deal out there. And of course, I did get this from Amazon. Amazon shipping these right out. I know Entertainment Earth has as well. Have to imagine Jay's going to have any day as well. So you'll have your options for this one if you are after this one. As I say, it's a grandma vehicle. Grandma loves you. She's not going to get you just a Hawk figure, but she's not going to get you that aircraft carrier. She's going to get you something in between. And that's how it was back in the 80s when I was collecting my Joes. And this would have been a perfect grandma vehicle once upon a time. But it's perfect to do a review on. And you know how we're going to do this review. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. And an interesting one here. Now, when I think of Hawk G.I. Joe, me personally, this isn't the Hawk I think of. And I know he was part of that original 13 that everybody loves. Well, that 13 was a little bit before my time. So I came into G.I. Joe around the Flint era, of course. As you can imagine, old Flint, we know all about that. Love the Flint era, but I also love the Serpentor era. There's kind of G.I. Joe you can knock into kind of three separate bunkers there. Back in the 80s, let's say early 90s as well. Now, I love General Hawk, of course, a true leader of the Joe team, as we know, unlike that no-good Duke. And I will say that, you know, General Hawk is a leader of the Joe team, but there's different kinds of leaders, and there's a different thing to be a true leader, like our friend Flint, Todd McFarlane. Todd McFarlane on the couch, ladies and gentlemen. Mark Summers doesn't have a whole lot to add to this video, but he's on the couch as well. But Flint is a true leader because everybody respects him. He would never tell his people to do something he wouldn't do himself, and he leads from the front line. Now, Hawk is a good leader, gets along with everybody, but let's all be honest. Boys on the couch, you, me here, a little bit dry in the personality department. Where Flint, you know, he likes to cut a rug, have a good time with old Lady J. Hawk just kind of sits in his office all the time. Now, Hawk will get his hands dirty from time to time, but not like Flint. And everybody respects General Hawk, but Flint's on another level because he's out there side by side with his men. He's leading from the front lines where Duke usually not. And when he does, what happens? Yep, you're right. You both got it. He gets captured. We know how that goes as well. So, you know, Hawk's a good leader and he grew into his leadership role. And he also changed his hair color along the way. Wild times to be General Hawk. But we got the big box here, of course. Very similar, a little bit of shenanigans between the Cobra one, and we'll do some comparisons later on in this very video. You guys know how we do it. Got the figure over here, big box art there. We got the Awe Striker, speak of the devil, in the background. I guess this makes sense. It's the latest Joe vehicle. It can tow this bad boy. We'll dive into those together later in this video as well. There's Hawk on the side. He's screaming for vengeance like a young Rob Halford is what it looks like to me. Number 182 in the line here. Once again, not a big fan of labeling these this way with the actual action figures. It's too big of a box, doesn't line up. Shenanigans aplenty. QR code, nobody's doing that. Come on, nobody's doing that. Then on the back, got the tail of the tape a little bit. And it shows kind of some of the features here, what we get inside the box. Then we got plenty of jibber jabber to keep us busy down there on the bottom. But let's see what's going on inside this box. See what's happening in here. And I think there's a lot happening. A lot happening in here. Oh my goodness. There it is. There goes the old box. You'll see you later. How about a little Spider-Man style? See you later. Goodbye. Uh-oh, we got straight up instructions here. So you know it means business. You know it's serious business when you got instructions. We also got the old footlocker, Clayton, Hawk, Abernathy with M.M.S. Mobile Mission Missile System. Not mission, Mobile Missile System. Clayton Abernathy. What a name. What a name. I'll say that right there. Let's bust this open. Why not? Got the old slicer. Oh, and we got full of baggies here. We're full of baggies. See you later. Goodbye. What do we got in these said baggies? I have a feeling we got a lot of missiles and so forth. Oh, yeah. We get some effect pieces. Let's get all these unboxed. Why not? Why not? We got all kinds of stuff going on. See you later, goodbye. What do we got here? Weapons. We got an empty baggie. Maybe I ripped off a piece. I don't know. Nothing in there. Bam! See you later, goodbye. And what do we got in this one? Anything? No, we got some feet. There we go. All right, we got a few things here and there. See you later, goodbye. We get a couple of effect pieces to put on the missiles. Got a big blast spot here, of course, once again for the missiles. We get a little backpack here. That's an interesting one. We've seen this before as well. Hawk can store some weapons in here if he needs to. It looks like maybe a knife possibly. And then we get a couple of feet. We'll call them feet for the M.M.S. A little flap for the tow hook. A couple of panel controllers right there. So interesting, I guess. And then we get Hawk and the M.M.S. in the loadout here. Look at all these twist ties. Look at all this plastic. Gonna take this offline. Drop everything out of the package. And we'll be back talking all things Hawk and the M.M.S. All right, let's dive into Hawk and the M.M.S. And this is Hawk before he was a general, of course, in the OG days of the G.I. Joe toy line, getting this version of Hawk. And I have to say, once again, I think the other version is a lot more popular, but I know there's a lot of fans out there that really wanted this Hawk in their collection. So it's a great way to bring this Hawk to the market, I guess, to stores. Retail, how about that? A great way to get this Hawk to retail with this M.M.S. because it gives a little bit more meat on the bone. If you just release this Hawk by himself, he's awfully plain Jane. He's awfully plain Jane. But we're going to dive into it, and I guess we'll start with Hawk first. Humans first over machinery, of course. And let's dive into it. He's got two pistols here. When things go down, he's ready for some close combat with some pistols. We've got two black pistols here, much like a lot of the Joe team members that get to multiple pistols. Now, we do get a backpack. Once again, we've seen this before. You can put the weapon inside there. You can put the knife on the other side here. Did we see these like the Cobra Trooper or Cobra Officer? I think something similar to this, but all in black right here. Love to be able to store everything on the Joes. You guys know that as well. Ooh, we got Duke's gun. Maybe he gave this down to Duke, said, hey, this one was trusty to me for a lot of years. This was a trusty weapon, but I always think of Duke with this one here. And then what's this? A magazine? Ooh, the magazine does come out. It's nice to always get that with the Joes. Be careful, you don't want to lose those things. But this magazine's an interesting one because it does say, please don't ever put Duke in command magazine. And that was a weird fortune teller magazine. I think Hermana Anna, the psychic, the gypsy psychic, if I'm not mistaken, Mark Summers and Todd McFarlane, I believe she writes that magazine. But we do get a little magazine there, of course, as we always do. We also get the standard issue G.I. Joe weapon. We always think of this with the green shirts, of course, back in the day. Can't wait for those G.I. Joe retro green shirts to add to the collection. Green and black attack on here. It's basically your standard issue G.I. Joe rifle here. You're going to shoot some lasers out of there is what it's going to do. And then we get the big one right here, the big old machine gun. Looks like it belongs to Leatherneck or somebody like that. Always looking good here. Does come with a magazine as well. General Monthly, How to Be a General in Only 10 Easy Steps. I might have to check into that one a little bit. But looking good here. Very classic. Once again, all in black for that. He's got a little knife. He's ready to get you if he needs to. Silver blade, black. Got to have a little knife. You never know when you might have to put some peanut butter on some toast or stab a cobra in the face. Either or, you never know. But now we're diving into Mr. Hawk himself. Younger version of Hawk, and it's always, whoa, head comes right off very easily. Very easily. It does not stick on, but it's not going to fall off or anything. But boy, that's about as easy as it gets to take a head on and off with Mr. Hawk right here. Maybe it needs to be seated in there. There we go. That's a little better. It just wasn't seated all the way in, apparently, there. But now we get Hawk out of the package. And once again, when I think of Hawk, I think of the brown hair. I don't think of this blonde hair. Definitely an interesting take on Hawk. But I guarantee there's people out there that think of Hawk with blonde hair first. Just once again, it comes into where did you come into the character? But for me, this looks a little different. And I remember as a kid, if I was playing and I had that original Hawk to go with the leader General Hawk, I just pretend this is a different character is probably what I'd end up doing. But an interesting looking figure, a very plain Jane figure, a very plain Jane in the head sculpt department as well. Very stoic face, 2 eyes, 2 ears, a nose and a mouth. Not playing any hits. He is very stoic on here. No sense of frustration, no sense of comedy, anything like that. I guess he is going to be a general one of these days. But he does look good. Now, he does got a vest over the top. It does say Abernathy Clayton M, so we'll never forget that name. He has that going on there. We also got a spot to store one of the pistols, which is always nice. Is this a bulletproof vest? It almost looks like it with this. Maybe it's a protective vest for against the M.M.S. when he's letting it launch. Don't want to get hurt on that. Now, he does got a green suit over the top. This would be a great army builder. You take this vest off, pop the head off. You can turn this into anybody, really, if you want to. Great army builder potential on this one. You got the long sleeves, the long pants, all in green. You got the brown, black. How about black? Black, brown, same thing, right? Dark colors. Black on the side. Got the pouches on the side of the thighs. Green and black attack down to the boots. Got the belt going on, looking very good. Got a couple of holsters there. One for a pistol and one for something else over here. Looks like maybe a silencer or a suppressor, possibly. But we do got some of that there. A little bit of, I guess those are pouches on the bicep. I guess that's what those are. So we got those sculpted in. Got an H on his belt if you look real close. Of course, for Hawk, I am assuming there. But besides that, pretty plain Jane. No extra hands for him. You got 2 trigger finger hands. Kind of is what it is. Very, very plain to go along with this M.M.S. But his arms do go all the way around for us. Ooh, you do got a little butterfly in the shoulder. Bicep cut. Double jointed. Pinless elbows. Hands back and forth, side to side. Head removable back and forth, side to side. Also has the neck articulation in there. Waist articulation plus ab crunch back and forth. Got those big old General Hawk splits when you need to make the split. And you can also do a little dance if you need them to. You can do a little of that with the drop down hips. Thigh cut. Double jointed. Pinless knees. Boot cut. Ankle up, down, back, forth, side to side. The usual articulation right here with Hawk. Don't call him quite general yet. And he should fit on a Mattel ringside collectible stand with discount code Kyle. Save 10%. Now, he does come with a helmet as well. He's got to have that helmet to protect himself from anything going on with this. The visor does come up on there. That looks nice. Got a little microphone on the inside. Looking very good. Very nice on the helmet department. He'll probably be displayed with the helmet in my collection. You can choose your own adventure as far as that goes. But does look good. I like the helmet on him right here. And then, of course, we got the original Hawk from the classified line. Kind of feels weird to say that, but this was the original version of Hawk that we got many moons ago. He should also fit on a ringside stand. What do you know? Now, this is my Hawk all day long. Looks like he stepped out of an episode of Wings with Lowell Hackett or something like that, but he's got the flight kind of bomber jacket going on in there. Very, very cool. A tale of two Hawks. I guess it's supposed to be younger and older, but all day long, I prefer this Hawk. This is my Hawk. I close my eyes. This is the Hawk I think of. Cool enough on this one, but just kind of another Joe figure for me. No way this one's going to be in the top 10 of 2025 when we do our final rankings later on this year. Stay tuned for that. But there's the figure. Now it's time to dive into the M.M.S. here, and we get a lot of effect pieces, and we've seen these before with multiple other Joes. So we do get some bomb effects that go on the ground, so you can put these around wherever you want to, add to your display. Same thing over here. You can put them on the back, kind of like the missiles are shooting into the ground. You can really choose your own adventure with that stuff. And then, of course, the missiles. We've seen these before as well. I think we've even seen them. Did we see this with the Dragonfly? I might be mistaken, but we've seen these before. Very cool to get. Always like the effect pieces. Use them if you want to. Don't have to. Great for figure photography, but we get a lot of different options with the M.M.S. right here. If you want to use them, I don't really ever use those. It's just not for me, for whatever reason. You like what you like, you don't what you don't. But now we're going to dive into the M.M.S. itself here. A very cool little system, very familiar. We've had something very similar before on the Cobra side. Now we're getting the Joe equivalent here. Makes all sense. You got to have that yin and yang. Got to keep it even, as we know. But we'll start at the top with the missiles. Beware Blast. Got the stars on there. XRU 8001. Got the black tips on the missiles. Looking very good. Missiles are removable, as you can imagine. And you can stick the effect pieces right there in the back. As you can see, you can plug those in. Missiles are removable if you want to. They got the old school G.I. Joe plug-in system with the 2 on the bottom. Very nostalgic as far as that goes. But you can put them on there, take them off, do whatever you want. But they come off and on very easily. No problems getting them back on there. Now you do get the swivel right here, and it does arch all the way up, as we can see there, all the way down. And then you can spin it all the way around if you want to. So you can fire in any direction you might need to. Very, very nice. Of course, combat green throughout on here. Got a little red piping on the end of the missiles as well. G.I. Joe logo, Beware Blast. You got the American flag over there looking good. United States on the back. Looking nice on this thing here. So that's the whole top part of it. Then you got the base. Base looking very, very good. Now you get a computer readout right here, and you do got this little cover. So you can take this on, take it off, do whatever you want to do with this. It does say control panel cover, but you can put that on or off if you want to. It looks very good. It says, wherever there is trouble over land and sea and air, G.I. Joe is there. So they have that painted on there. No stickers with this one. Hallelujah. You know me, I'm not a sticker guy. But you do got that painted on, looking very good. Does say stand back on the back, like a young Vince McMahon saying stand back right there. Caution, caution. You got the lights there for the reverse lights, looking very good. All kinds of little Easter eggs throughout on here. You got a couple of different ones on the side. You got the old star on the side over here. looking very nice. Now you do get 2 tires, of course. They almost feel like they need inflated. They're very kind of squishy, so not super inflated on these ones here. But you do got working tires. They actually do spin if you want them to. Of course, you're going to tow this behind the Ostriker. You got want to have those spinning on there. But usual G.I. Joe tires we've got with the Vamp, very similar to those. You got the green rims on it. Now on the back, you do got the legs, and the legs can stick back up. So you just move them up, down, whatever you want to do. You can move them up, of course. Same thing in the front. You get the big sturdy legs. It's got to base itself. You know, if it's going to be shooting missiles, it's got to be locked in. But you can move that up. You can move that up. And then you're all on the wheels right here. So this is when you can be towed behind the Ostriker. In the front here, you do got the tow hook right there. You got a little bit of a, I don't know, grate, I guess we'll call it. You can move this up and down however you want to match the vehicle that's going to tow it. If you're going to have a tank tow it, you're going to have the Ostriker, whatever it may be. You can even fold it all the way up there and stick it out like that if you need to. So you can make it work for you, make it work for your vehicle. And I guess speaking of vehicles, I got the Ostriker right here. Once again, check out that unboxing. Hear the horrible story about my childhood crankcase. Yes, I said crankcase, boys. Check that video out if you missed it. You can put it right onto the tow hook here. I guess I got to move it out a little bit. There we go. Hooks right on, and then you just adjust it where you want it to be. And there you are. You're attached to the Ostriker, ready to go, ready to take on and ready to feud with Cobra, ready to blast off wherever need be. And, you know, old Clayton, he can hop shotgun in there with crankcase, and they can be off to the races. Probably put Flint up here in the gunner seat. Why wouldn't you? Flint will lead the way. We know how that goes. But a very, very fun one here. Once again, a grandma vehicle to me. This isn't your aircraft carrier. This isn't the Moray. This isn't even the Armadillo. It's something a little bit less, but man, it's fun when you go to grandma's and you get something like this. And that's what it reminds me of course. And of course, we got the old anti-jammer over here, of course, but very similar. Obviously the same thing. Gotta get the most out of your molds. It is honestly the same thing. It's just the same thing painted differently. But that is Toy Business 101. Got to get the most out of your molds here. I got mine pulled behind my HISS tank. I think that's what most people do. But you can do whatever you want with this one. Vamp, maybe the Ostriker, maybe something else in the future. Tow it behind the Dragonfly if you want to. Through the air. Maybe you could do that. But very cool. And I think once we saw this, we knew we were going to get the Joe equivalent. And I think a smart move by the Hasbro team, waiting about a year and a half. What is time? Once again, get this one out. Maybe people missed this. Maybe they didn't want it. Whatever. What is old is new again on the shelves here from Hasbro. So this looks good to me. I don't got any issues with it. It's fun to be able to tow this behind if you want to do that. And yeah, choose your own adventure, as we say all the time here on the channel. But there it is. Hawk and the M.M.S. I wouldn't say it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. And sliced bread's pretty good, boys. We know that. But it is cool. It is another character, even a different version of a character, out on our shelves. And I think that was a good way to get Hawk out into the collection for us. I don't think he's a superstar figure on his own, but you put him with the M.M.S., it makes a lot of sense, gets this out there. It works for what it's trying to do, if you ask me. So there it is. But now I'm going to ask you, what do you think of this one? Are you picking it up? You got the Cobra and the Joe one? Or are you picking and choosing between the two? Let me know your thoughts on the M.M.S. and Hawk in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to both my YouTube channels. 2 channels with content every single day. Plenty to keep you busy. You guys know how that goes. Check out, of course, SirPaul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, and TheKylePetersonShow at gmail.com, which is also the name of my weekly podcast, The Kyle Peterson Show, available wherever podcasts are found, with videocast on YouTube. And don't forget to check out Patreon and YouTube channel memberships for even more content if that is your thing. So for the M.M.S. and Hawk, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.
Well, are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?